You know, I'm old enough to remember when highbrow, meditative, thinking person's art house science fiction and Natalie Portman fighting a giant mutated alligator with a machine gun would be mutually exclusive concepts. This is a fun century. I mean, you know, except for all the stuff that's not films, television, and certain video games. Originally best known as the novelist behind The Beach and screenwriter of Never Let Me Go, 28 Days Later, and Dread, Alex Garland's burgeoning directing career appears to have been positioned for a very particular niche. Very smart sci-fi movies made from very silly sci-fi premises. Having broken out with Ex Machina, aka the most philosophically textured version ever of What If Robot But Sexy, he now offers up Annihilation, a thoughtful, deliberately paced, psychologically complex, and thematically rich, non-linear meta-narrative about a heavily armed, all-female Black Ops strike team infiltrating an alien force field inhabited by dangerous mutant hybrid animals in an attempt to stop it from expanding across the southern United States. A fairly loose adaptation inspired by the first installment of Jeff Vandermeer's Southern Reach trilogy, the film stars Natalie Portman as a battle-hardened military vet turned biologist who agrees to join the exposition of fellow gun-toting lady scientists into the mysterious Area X after her husband and fellow soldier, played by Oscar Isaac, returns as the sole survivor of his own mission, suffering from an unexplained illness. Once inside, she and her team, which includes Jennifer Jason Leigh, Tessa Thompson, Gina Rodriguez, and Tuva Novotny, come to believe that the strange energies expanding within the force wall are causing bizarre and horrifying mutations in the local plant and animal life, and that the teams who went in before them went insane and turned on one another, though it's not immediately clear whether or not those two things are directly related, with the answers supposedly waiting in a mysterious lighthouse at the center of the phenomenon. Is it good? I think so, yeah. It's smart, it's gorgeous looking, it's full of great actors and well directed with a uniquely elusive tone, located somewhere amid the spectrum of Andrei Tarkovsky, Ken Russell, and Alan Moore's Swamp Thing, so definitely right up my alley. Will you enjoy it? I couldn't tell you, but it almost feels purposefully designed to be divisive. What we've got here is thinking person sci-fi from the Solaris school, where the science fiction aspect does play fair in terms of there being a pretty straightforward logic to what's supposed to have been going on, especially if you've seen other similarly premised films in the genre before this, but where the discovery and resolutions of said goings-on in the literal sense are considered of secondary importance to the psychological interplay of the characters and the events as metaphor for bigger questions about the nature of existence, death, love, hate, humanity, etc. Whether or not you can groove on that particular wavelength is going to determine most of how you'll react to it, but even if you find yourself not really caring what's going on, the film remains a fascinating visual document, especially in the way Garland directs it, very much in the rhythm and tone of a more conventional monster thriller, but also sets the action primarily in daylight in a jungle where the ever-mutating surroundings increasingly present as rainbow-colored flowery plant life and ethereal critters who appear to have wandered in from a Hayao Miyazaki film, at times resembling nothing so much as a Lisa Frank Trapper Keeper designed by H.R. Giger. And while I did enjoy it overall, I don't think it's quite as solid as Ex Machina was, though to be fair, the fusion of Easter-hued pastoralism and stomach-churning body horror would be a heavy lift for any filmmaker, let alone someone on only their second movie. Regardless, things do get a little long in Act 2, and those sufficiently genre-savvy so as to keep pace with the plot proper will probably guess where this is all headed a good hour before it gets there, though the climax itself is a pretty wild head trip all the same. There's also a certain visual detail that I won't spoil, which seems to have been dropped in as an extra clue for repeat viewings, but gets a few too many establishing shots and something that isn't actually paid off on screen, in my opinion. Still, it's a film that's very much about the journey as opposed to the destination, and that journey is pretty goddamn cool. 3 stars, good stuff, give it a shot.